Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broadway Jets YouTube channel. You'll know me from Twitter as NYJ Mike. I'm joined, as always, by the master of receipts, NYJ Matt. And Matt, today the Jets have traded away quarterback Zach Wilson. He goes to the Broncos. Well, pick swap. The Jets shed some salary. We weren't sure if the Jets were going to be able to trade Zach Wilson, if they were going to have to cut him. He does end up getting traded. There's only a few times in our lives, Matt, where a starting quarterback for a few years will get traded. Today is one of those days, and we'll have to reflect on the Zach Wilson era.
It feels good that it's finally over. We knew it was coming, and then there was those reports from Woody and Douglas that they weren't going to trade him for nothing, and finally they get something in return. And Mike, looking back, a lot of people on Twitter today are happy. A few people who are diehard Zach Wilson guys are still defending him and calling out the O-line was unhealthy. A lot of things went wrong for him in his career. I have a few takes, but Mike, how are you going to remember the Zach Wilson era and him as a player and or a person?
There's a lot of negativity surrounding Zach. You know, it's interesting because we when Zach Wilson got drafted by the Jets, we had a negative taste in our mouths because we were Sam Darnold supporters, and we wanted the Jets to keep Darnold in that draft.
Yep.
Or at least maybe not take a quarterback, trade back, whatever, accumulate picks. So, you have an opinion. Then the guy that they draft doesn't play very well. You could sour on the guy. I thought he said less annoying things than people say. Like, I don't think he was so annoying. I think he tried hard until then there was the report that he didn't want to play. I don't know. It's just a very bizarre scenario. He wasn't supposed to be the starting quarterback last year. Obviously, he's supposed to be Rodgers. He wasn't really supposed to play. Then he gets thrown to the fire. So it was a very tumultuous, up and down tenure. I don't hate him as a person. He's definitely not one of my favorite Jets of all time. You probably make the playoffs the last 2 years with other quarterbacks. Maybe last year the offensive line got hurt and Hackett sucked. Yada, 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 yada. I don't know. It feels good that he's gone. And, I don't want to sit back and be like, F that guy.
Right. And there are players that have been drafted since 2017, multiple players where you would have that take. They demanded trade. They went out the wrong way, kept getting trouble off the field. Zach Wilson, outside of the injury fiasco that happened at the end of 2023, did the right thing off the field and was like a decent leader, albeit his way of doing it. But he was terrible on the field. And when you have 34 career games and in 4 of them, you complete over 64% of your passes, that's not good. You're 0-5 against the Patriots. You're the worst first half quarterback potentially of all time. He had 5 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and completed 54
Is that really the
passes. Yeah, in the first half. And again, the first half when games matter, you're still in it. And in the second half, he had a 1-for-1 touchdown to pick ratio. Mike, all of it feels good to wash our hands from it. The new era officially feels live. Having him hanging over this roster throughout training camp would not have been a fun thing. And he goes to Denver, a place that doesn't really have an established quarterback. New uniforms dropped today. But we could probably do a whole eulogy for Zach Wilson's career in the Jets, but a huge disappointment. We were saying, why are you drafting literally the best player in the draft, not named Trevor Lawrence, based on an 11 to 12 game sample size in a COVID year? And all I heard his entire time, and I still see it on Twitter today from a lot of people that say he's like physically talented and gifted. Where? Show me the throw in the NFL where he made a big time play, take like the Corey Davis throw out, or maybe one throw against the Texans. How many times am I going to hear about him being physically gifted and never delivering in 34 games on that promise? So I don't think he's physically gifted. I think he's pretty bad, but off the field, I think he's a good dude, and I'm not going to try to kill him on the way out, but very disappointing tenure, and thank God they did the right thing by getting a backup in Tyrod Taylor.
They did the right thing. They finally cut bait. It is interesting. Look, the NFL draft is a crapshoot. It's very obvious, where guys go. Patrick Mahomes goes 10th. Josh Allen went 7th. All this stuff doesn't happen. They would go number 1. So nobody knows. You can't kill the Jets too much. I understand why they took a quarterback. If the Jets don't take Zach Wilson there, he probably goes 3, right? He probably goes to the Niners. That's what we heard. It's not like it was not like it's an insane pick. I don't know. It just didn't work. At least, like, even the last couple years, though, the frustrating thing is we had those really, really dark years from 2016 to 2021. Through those 6 years where the Jets were not competitive. They were not in a position to make the playoffs any of those seasons past like week 2. They're just dead. And then you have 2022 and 2023, and Zach Wilson is playing quarterback. And even the best moments of those seasons where they were in contention, he was just holding them back. And it was him. And it's frustrating. And it's like Darnold. I want Sam Darnold to go to Minnesota and destroy everyone. I honestly don't even hope that the best for that. I hope he's happy. I hope he makes a lot of money. I hope his life is easy. I don't think he's a bad person. Get off my football team.
Yeah, and I think in 2022 the blame falls on him, and in 2023 the blame falls on the front office, right? And I tweeted that out, got a little hate because they're saying in 2022 everyone got hurt in the offensive line, correct? And the offensive line was terrible. But why is Mike White and a guy like Josh Johnson in 2021 or Joe Flacco can win football games and score 30 points and you score 13.5 per game, and if that? And how do you go 55 straight drives without a touchdown? Or
there was the stat in 2022 that the Jets led the league in passing yards per game when Zach Wilson did not play, and were last in the league in passing yards per game in games that he did play. It's tough. That's not a good stat.
You can put context around it. Like, I get it. The offensive line is terrible. And then you want your receivers to make 50-50 plays for your young quarterback, and they didn't do it often. So we can put context around it. All in all, Mike Hugh is just a bad quarterback. And I'm happy we're moving on. Things are going to be better. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the details of the trade are what? The Jets traded a $7 and $8 million of the. I think the original report was $6 million. I don't know if the cap number is. I think the cap is still $8 million, and the Jets received a 6th-round pick back. So they move up like 50 picks in the draft. They give, and then they pay. I think $6 million of it. But I think the cap hit for the Jets is still like $8 million, and they save $2.75 million. So listen, that's fine. You were just going to cut him.
And it's just funny the value of the 2nd overall pick. It reminds me, and I'm going to give you a bad analogy to leave it. When I was like 10 years old, the bigs came out for the Wii, the like MVP. It's like an MLB game for the Wii, and I had like $55 left to my name, and I went to GameStop, and I bought it for $50. And I thought it would be like the MVP version for the Wii, and it was like going to be realistic, and it was, in my opinion, a not fun game, even though it's fun looking back on it. But I spent 50 out of my 55 final dollars, and then I sold it back to GameStop for $1.99 3 years later. That's how it feels losing Zach Wilson after taking him 2nd overall and getting not much in return. But to your point, it's better than cutting him. There's still a win outside of it, but the value of the 2nd overall pick, obviously a disaster. And
Matt, listen, all roads have led to Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
We have a lovely defense. We're in a great spot. It is okay. If you would have said in 2021 that the Jets draft Rodgers, I think this is so long ago now, but this at that point was when quarterbacks started moving around a lot.
Yep.
I think it was one of the first. Kirk Cousins.
Russell Wilson will get traded.
Russell Wilson that's the example I was thinking of, got traded. And we're like, man, these quarterbacks are moving around. If it doesn't work out with Zach, you build a good team, and then you could figure it out anyway. And that's what the Jets did. So kudos to them. Kudos to them for cutting bait. Not kudos to them for saying they were going to move on from Zach last year, getting Rodgers. Then Rodgers got hurt, and they didn't get another quarterback. Not kudos for that. But other than that, they did the right thing this time. We're still in a great spot. It is what it is. It's and the uniforms are gone. It just feels like a weird fever dream of a few years that, just kind of sucked.
It was brutal. But then draft this week, a lot of fun stuff ahead. Fun week ahead.
Let's do a video Wednesday, Matt, on the draft.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah. We'll try to get Connor Hughes, even though he keeps ducking us in the group.
He's ducking us, dude.
A ton, like blatantly.
Like, what is that? I feel like I'm texting some girl who doesn't want to go out with me.
You went to college with him. You got to figure it out.
That's my boy, dude.
All right, you got to go. You're going to the Knicks game tonight.
I'm going to the Knicks game right now. I did text my buddy who I know will watch, and I'm meeting him at the game, but I'm late because of this. And I was gonna be like, I'm stuck at work. Sorry, dude. And then show up late. And I know he will watch this video, so I can't do that. So thank you for watching, Pat.
I did forget to say we are sponsored by Jet X Factor. If you did make it this far, hit subscribe, like, DM us on Twitter. We'll follow back anybody who made it this far at the end of the video. Mike, anything before you wrap up?
All roads have led to Rodgers. It's okay. We cut bait. Good luck in Denver, Zach. We got a couple million extra bucks. Now, instead of they're not gonna have enough money to pay all the rookies, you might as well just trade up and take Marvin Harrison. That's it. Less picks, more Marvin Harrison. We're in a good spot. Come on.
Right now, I'd trade up to 3, 4, 5. They wouldn't trade
Whatever.
3.
Trade up to 1. Take Caleb Williams. 2 quarterback system.
All right. Have a good night, buddy. Enjoy the game.
All right.